So when should an entrepreneur start thinking about accessibility?
From the beginning, immediately. Even just during the product conception phase, it's critical to be thinking about this. You should be thinking about how could this really benefit and improve the life of a user with or without a disability. Thinking about how could my product be used in various situations. Things like that are really important. I think a good example is Google Books, which became really beneficial to everyone in that now all of these books that were tucked away in libraries across the world were digitized, and you could see them just by typing in your computer. So not is it only beneficial to you and I, but folks that use screen readers now, they are able to use these, have these books read to them via a screen reader, which in the past they would have to wait for a Braille version, which are very costly and time-consuming to get. So this is I think a great example of why it's important to think of these things early.
So how do you go about designing for all users? What sort of lessons learned from Google Books or maybe other digital products should entrepreneurs be aware of and know about?
So I think the first thing is just for you and your team members to become familiar with accessibility basics, and most importantly is understanding the needs of users with disabilities. So like when you're starting out any project, you want to reach out to users that you think will be your end user and understand their needs, their challenges, their pain points. And so this is the exact same thing you want to do with people with disabilities. So reaching out to folks that you feel like meet your target audience that also have impairments is really important, and the insights that you gain are invaluable. The other thing you want to do is become more familiar with assistive technologies. So assistive technologies are tools that a number of people use to just kind of help them achieve the same tasks that other people would with just a little bit of assistance. So examples of this are closed captioning in videos where you can see the words that are being said. You see those typed at the bottom of those. There are magnification devices that people with low vision might need to use. There are screen readers, which essentially read the content of the screens to the users. So you don't have to become an expert on these by any means, because that would take forever, but just understanding the basics, as well as watching and observing somebody use these. Specifically, watching them use the assistive technologies with your product is, again, it's one of the most eye-opening experiences I've ever had. And then I think another thing to keep in mind is that there are a number of online resources for accessibility design guidelines that give you lots of points of what to consider when you're designing. So an example might be when you're in the visual design stage, you want to be thinking about good color contrast so that users with low vision can actually read what's on the screen or the page. When you're thinking about interaction design, you want to ensure that, again, what we talked about before, where the keyboard, users that only use a keyboard are able to complete all of the tasks that they're trying to achieve.